I'm Brian Wilford, Member of Parliament for Richmond Hill, and this is MP Report. I'd like to bring you up to date on a number of issues that have occurred in the House of Commons for the last week. The first one deals with an NDP motion on foreign ownership. It's a motion that I supported and have consistently over the years been concerned about the amount of foreign ownership in Canada. Foreign ownership means that control is in the hands of outsiders and not in the hands of Canadians in terms of decisions to be made in terms of jobs, in terms of investment, etc. Foreign investment is a very positive thing, but it's the control, it's the 50% plus one, which is obviously of concern to many Canadians, and we've seen the loss of Canadian companies over the years due to that, particularly control in the areas of the manufacturing sector and the high-tech sector. A private member's bill before the House of Commons, which received a third reading last week, was C-302. That is my colleague Massimo Pacchetti's bill on Italian-Canadian redress. That is an issue dealing with people of Italian background during the Second World War who were interned. And the motion the private member's bill essentially deals with the issue of public apology, formal public apology for the Prime Minister in the House of Commons, and is setting up of an endowment basically to educate Canadians on this situation and hopefully to educate people for the future to prevent these kinds of things from occurring again. Last week I was re-elected as the director of the Canada-Korea Parliamentary Association. That's an association that deals with parliamentarians from Korea on a wide range of issues. And again, I was pleased to be able to do that given my considerable focus and attention on issues dealing with Asia, particularly in terms of engagement, particularly in terms of strategy, with how can we better deal with these countries, particularly Korea. We are currently in negotiations on a free trade agreement, and one of the major issues and concern to me is the access of Canadian auto manufacturers to Korea. Obviously, at this point, North American auto dealers in particular manufacturers have very little access to the Korean market. We also are dealing with the issue of the Afghanistan Special Afghan Committee, and as Vice Chairman, we dealt with three former ambassadors to Afghanistan last week, in which we looked at the issue of detainee transfers. We looked at the whole issue of what is important in terms of maintaining our steadfastness to things like the Geneva Convention, the Articles of War. Again, it's not whether our troops did anything wrong, that we know. What we are concerned about whether the government did something wrong in terms of covering up by actually transferring people to the NDA, which is the NDS in Afghanistan. These are the people, obviously, Afghan secret police, etc., who could torture individuals, and this would be against the Geneva Convention as an example. The mood on Parliament Hill, clearly what we are doing at the moment is we are looking at a number of construction options for the review of the more than 40,000 pages for the Afghan detainees, and I am confident that we will be able to come to an agreement adhering to the very important ruling of the Speaker last week, which clearly demonstrated that Parliament and not government is supreme, that government is accountable to the Parliament of Canada. And that, I think, is an important ruling, because obviously as parliamentarians we represent the people. We must be able to have oversight, and we must be the ones who ultimately have the government, whatever party is in power, accountable to Canadians. We also are continuing to examine at the National Defence Committee the whole issue of procurement. At the moment, when we are dealing with the purchasing of anything, basically it's soup to nuts, from military hardware of any kind, it goes through three agencies. It goes through the Industry Department, the Defence Department, and the Public Works Department. We have a report from the industry itself which suggests that we really need only one minister. And that's what every other G7 state has. By having one minister, it will streamline the approval for necessary equipment, which makes a lot of sense. Obviously, if you're going to build a ship or a tank or whatever, it's going to take significant time. But by going through three heads rather than one, it tends to really drag the process out. For example, if you want to build a Navy ship, you could be looking up to 10 years, an icebreaker up to 15 years. that really is quite cumbersome. And the suggestion was, and obviously I think our committee's been very supportive of reducing it to having one minister, and this has found some favor with the government. We'll see what takes place. In any event, I'm pleased to update you on a few issues. I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you very much.